What up, what up, what up? This is Neo Bats, and we are back and finally here at the review for the first book of Batman Last Night on Earth. Batman Last Night on Earth is a 3-book graphic novel by writer Scott Snyder and artist Greg Capullo. A story where Bruce awakens as a patient in Arkham Asylum, surrounded by a staff completely made up of his famous rogues gallery. And his alias as Batman was created as a coping mechanism to deal with his trauma of the loss of his parents, while trapped behind the walls of the very same asylum that he once placed his villains. Refusing to believe this fact, Bruce sets out into what he now discovers is a post-apocalyptic world that is vastly different from his home world. And while on this journey, he comes across some very familiar faces, but yet very different at the same time. Faces such as Wonder Woman, Scarecrow and Bane, and even Superman. This DC Black Label exclusive gives us a very different take into the world of Batman. And with that being said, let's dive right into the story. Part 1, The Cave. The story starts off with Batman on patrol, en route to a crime scene. The details of the crime scene: a body found in the alley. But once Bruce arrives, he realizes that it's something much more than that, something much more worse. And before he can react, the body, with a firearm mechanism attached, aims at Bruce, firing a single shot. Awakening shortly afterwards, Bruce finds himself unmasked, out of costume, and strapped to what appears to be a hospital bed. Disoriented, Bruce screams out for Alfred, but can barely get the words out, only to then receive the news from his doctor that it was a side effect of the medication that he had been given, reassuring Bruce that this is the first time in a long time that he is actually not being tricked. "No, I know you. I know exactly who you are," responds Bruce. "And I know you too, Bruce. I'm your doctor, Dr. Redmond Hood. And I have been for nearly 20 years, the whole time you've been with us at Arkham Asylum." Now frantic, Bruce screams to be let out. Sarcastically comforting him, Dr. Hood assures Bruce that there are other people on the other side of his room door that have been waiting to see him for a long time, with one special person in particular. And as Bruce laid eyes on the person that entered the room, the only word that he could say was no. And that person was none other than Alfred. After confirming with Dr. Hood that all of Bruce's scans were in alignment, Alfred asks Bruce to speak to him, to say anything. To which Bruce says, while still regaining his speech pattern, "Alfred, please take me home." To which Alfred assures him that he will, that he promises that he will. But first that he needs Bruce to understand, as he awakens from his coma, that he has been forgiven. Forgiven for what he did. Confused, Bruce asks, "Forgiven for what?" "I'm sorry, Bruce. I thought you understood this much," Alfred says. To which Bruce asks again, "Alfred, did what?" To which then Alfred delivers the most shocking news to Bruce, that the person responsible for the murder of Bruce's parents all those years ago was Bruce himself. Enraged, Bruce now even questions whether or not the person he's talking to is even Alfred, to which now angers him, which then prompts him to swing open Bruce's curtain so he can have a good look at the people that surrounds him. And as Bruce looks at the staff, he can't help but see the Rose Gallery that he knows all too well. Bruce now begins to go through the possible options of people that did this. The Mad Hatter, the Scarecrow, to which then Alfred turns away from Bruce in frustration, preparing to leave. Bruce then screams, begging Alfred to stay, to which Alfred responds with the simple, "I love you, my boy, and I will be back." And as Alfred leaves, a form of sedative is delivered to Bruce's neck, with the last thing that he hears is, "It's okay, Bruce. You've been lost in the dark a long time. Your eyes just need to adjust. Awakening in a padded cell, Bruce then begins tearing into the wall, searching for a means of escape. And what he finds are more clues from a life that he refuses to forget. A penny and a dinosaur. Famous mementos kept by Bruce from his past battles with his villains. These are among the most notable in the Batcave. In total disarray, Bruce begins dismantling the padding around him. Refusing to believe that any of this is real, that there could be no possible way. We now find ourselves with Bruce and Alfred again, with Alfred returning to see Bruce to ask simply why he hasn't accepted this yet. Only for Bruce to begin questioning Alfred about his skill sets, like for one, his ability to speak multiple languages. To which Alfred responds that he learned it from the librarian Elliot, whom Bruce turned into some villain called Shh, or some ridiculous thing. And then when asked about his experience in hand-to-hand combat, Alfred relays that Bruce learned it from Dr. Al Ghul in a hospital gymnasium, before nearly drowning him in the whirlpool under the belief that it was some kind of magical well. Alfred then goes on to tell Bruce that he brought something that he hoped would be able to help finally put Bruce's mind at ease with all of this. Bruce's cowl. But what Alfred pulls out of the bag is just another addition to the nightmare that Bruce is trapped in. Here it is, Alfred says. Here is Batman. As Alfred presents a suit to Bruce, composed entirely of restraining straps and a straitjacket. As Bruce gazes upon the mask, Alfred breaks down the meaning. The jacket, being what he was kept in for a long time, and the helmet, a part of his shock therapy. And also that the Wayne Foundation had taken over the asylum shortly after his arrival. And as Bruce struggles to form the next sentence, Alfred takes one last moment to plead with him again to accept the truth. And if he can finally do that, then they can go home together. Alfred, I just, says Bruce. And as Alfred grabs Bruce's hands, awaiting his next answer, Bruce, with a sheer look of determination, says one thing and one thing only to Alfred. Alfred, I'm going to need that suit back right now. And with that, we have concluded part 1 of Batman's Last Night on Earth, Book 1. There are a total of 4 parts to Book 1, with the next parts dropping each Saturday of the following weeks. I hope you enjoyed watching and listening just as much as I enjoy making it. And with this, I got more work to do. This has been Nito Bats. Until next time, peace.